Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Ryan Bowling. Thank you for joining me. As we all know, June 19th is the day where blacks were officially emancipated from slavery. They were freed from slavery during that time. And quite frankly, I just not found out about that, to be honest with you, not too long ago. But what I find interesting is that there's a group of black women, an activist group, a leftist activist group, of course, that used that day or wanted to use that day as a way to push for the right to have an abortion. You're dead right. They wanted to use that day, the day that blacks were officially freed from slavery, June 19th, as the day to push for the right to have an abortion. I'm going to assume for black people. But you know what? I'm going to read this article. It's a short article, and then I'm going to get right into it. I'm going to give you my commentary on this because you know I have something to say about this. This is just crazy, man. It's just crazy. These people just would not give up. And the article starts off, it says, a group of black feminist activists are marching towards the U.S. Supreme Court on Juneteenth weekend in support of their pro-abortion policies. The organization Black Bodies for Black Power organized the march that will start on 6th Street Northeast and 226 4th Street Northeast and make its way to the Supreme Court. These activists are using the Juneteenth celebration of the end of slavery to promote their, quote, fight for reproductive justice. If they only knew. If they only knew. Join us this Juneteenth weekend at the Supreme Court for a demonstration led by black women to oppose attacks on abortion and fight for reproduction justice. Find out more, a message from the organization said. The protest at the Supreme Court comes 1 month after Politico reported on a draft Supreme Court opinion written that signaled the court intended to overrule its 1973 decision, Roe v. Wade. I don't believe that's going to happen. That's just my opinion. This stuff been going on since the 60s. As the court nears the end of its term, well, not since the 60s. Let me take that back. I'm sorry. Since the early 70s, because it was legalized in 1973. As the court nears the end of its term, many legal analysts expect the decision in Dobbs versus Jackson to be handed out in the coming weeks. And that's the case that really promoted abortion. I actually found that out a couple of days ago, actually. But at any rate, you know what's crazy about this? Here's what I wanted to say about this as I read this article. First of all, I'm going to make an assumption that this activist group, these black feminists, are getting paid a significant amount of money to do this. But secondly, the goal for them to use a day that was supposed to set blacks, the official day that freed blacks from slavery, to use that day as a catalyst to promote murder, in my opinion, because that's what it is, murder, as far as I'm concerned, is appalling to me. But here's another thing, too, that these black feminist activists don't know about. The very concept that they're trying to push for reproductive abortion, reproduction rights or whatever, or reproduction justice, bunch of nonsense. What these feminists don't understand is that the very thing that you're pushing for was created by a lady, a racist and eugenist by the name of Margaret Sanger from the 1920s and 1930s. And I'm going to summarize her worldview by simply saying this, that she was a racist, a intense racist. She was a eugenist who believed that certain races shouldn't be brought into or shouldn't be allowed to breed, shouldn't be allowed to produce, because those particular ethnic groups or races were considered to be destructive to the white race and they needed to be annihilated. So she pushed for birth control and then created the first Planned Parenthood, placed most of the Planned Parenthood clinics in minority neighborhoods. I believe I was reading one report stated that 70% of Planned Parenthood clinics are placed in minority neighborhoods and black neighborhoods in particular. Why? Because one of the things that Margaret Sanger believed was that obviously and clearly being a racist, that the black race, she said in one of her books, Pivot to Civilization, was nothing but a bunch of weeds. That's what she called the black race in her book, Pivot to Civilization. Weeds. And she wrote a letter to a preacher. I believe it was a Baptist preacher. No offense, but I think that's what it was, a Baptist preacher. I actually read the letter. I Googled it and I found the site, the address of the site, Googled the article and read it. And I'm paraphrasing her words. She said in the letter to the minister, and I don't know how much money she paid this man, but she essentially said that that you have to convince your people that abortion is a good thing. I'm paraphrasing her words. That abortion is a good thing. That this is healthy for your congregation. So she convinced black preachers to convince their followers that abortion is a good thing. That's why a lot of black preachers support abortion and support the Democratic Party, which supports abortion. Because they've been brainwashed, a significant number of them have been brainwashed and conditioned to believe this is a good thing. Where's the discernment at? Where is the discernment? Margaret Sanger believed that the black race and other minority races was a problem that needed to be eradicated. And abortion was one of the ways in which to eradicate these problem ethnic groups and problem races. The blacks being one of them, obviously. And one particular statistic stated that since 1973 until now, abortion among blacks is the highest among all other ethnic groups and have decreased the black population by 25%, which could explain why the black population is still only at 13% in this country. Now, this is what this statistical finding said. Whether or not this statistical finding is totally accurate, I don't know. But in my opinion, I believe it is accurate. And so what these black feminist activists fail to see is that they're actually pushing and supporting an ideology or worldview that is basically was created to eradicate black people. Now that's a true genocide if you want to call it that. Everybody's hollering about the white man want to. Okay, we're gonna say that then. Okay, you want to say the white? Okay, we will. But it's a certain section of white people. It's people like Margaret Sanger. That's who we're talking about. Unfortunately, she was white, but she certainly was the one that jump started all of this. She said, it's not white police officers trying to eradicate black people. That's a bunch of nonsense, because the numbers between white police officers shooting and killing blacks and the numbers of blacks killing other blacks, when you compare the numbers together year by year, blacks killing blacks with guns is far more than white police officers killing blacks. Far more, by the thousands. So let's quit with this idea that whites are trying to white police officers are trying to wipe out black people. That's a bunch of nonsense. It's not true. It don't line up with the numbers, and it don't line up with reality from what I see anyway. But I just wanted to say that this whole idea of using this particular day, Juneteenth, to be the day as the catalyst to push this kind of nonsense, it shows a zeal that is misguided. I'm going to quote Jesus' words. The blind lead the blind, they both shall fall into the ditch. This group is blind, and they're leading the blind that follow them, and both of them are going to fall into the ditch. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. And let me say this in the closing of this video. I find it interesting that they would do this also, because what a lot of people might not know is that during the Civil War, which was basically a war between the Democrats and Republicans. That's really what it was, because you had the South, which was predominantly Democrat, and the North, which was predominantly Republican, was a fight for, in part, to free the slaves. Hundreds of thousands of white people gave their life for the freedom, for the right of blacks to be free from slavery. Think about that. These people gave their life for a cause that really had nothing to do with them. It wasn't their race of people, wasn't their ethnic group, but because they saw these people as human beings, they were willing to go to war, to die, so that black people could be set free from slavery. Where's their honor? Where's their honor? Well, I honor and salute them. Instead of honoring and saluting this nonsense that these so-called black feminists are trying to push, which is murder, as far as I'm concerned. But what do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button. Share this video and subscribe. God bless you all, and see you again on another Black Conservative with Ryan Bowling.